All right, I think we're live here, a little bit early, so let me get the link for the broadcast and post it to Twitter. 1 second here. Okay, let's see, that should work. All right. So I just want to get started. Hope everybody had a great day today. Yeah, there's oh my goodness, I just ran a scan and there's like 36 double inside days. It's like the most double inside days I've ever seen. So my guess is we're gonna see some action tomorrow, or not. You know, it might go triple inside day, but I doubt it. You know, because that's extremely rare. I was just pulling up a few just now, so just to get started, I was looking at AMTD. As you guys know, that was on my short radar the other day. Put in a Maribozu bar on the 10th, and then you know, toyed a little, you know, opened down, gap down, came up, and then boom, like right back down, and then went inside day, and then today another inside day. I mean, you tell me. It looks like it's come up, tested, and let's see what it does here. So just on the monthly again, it's below the monthly 20 simple moving average. So yeah, so I just want to kind of review. You know, yesterday I did the video on Tesla. That was my you know, I normally don't trade Tesla just because it's so crazy, but I had to do it with a double inside day, and I profiled it yesterday on the live stream video. And so so yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. So basically, what happened yesterday, or what happened on, you know, Fridays, it went double inside day, and as we talked about yesterday. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the hourly time frame here, because on this you can see the top bar and the lower bar. To see where, you know, where it went inside, you know, on Friday. And so today I you know, it opened, it kind of gapped down a little bit, you know, within the well, yeah, gapped down a little bit in the range. And I think this morning I tweeted out it was I don't know, it was hard to find a direction on it. And probably what I should have done early is just buy it over the VWAP and keep a stop, you know, at the low of the day, and that would have been a good, you know, basically 259 all the way up to 262, so a good 3 points in the morning. Instead, I tried to buy the break, and it didn't have that much power. You can see it broke a little bit, and you know, I gave it some room and I stopped myself out. But I kept my eye on it all day, and I got, you know, a good tweet today, you know, asking, you know, how I did it later, and just to keep it on the radar. So remember, when we talked about yesterday, there's 4 scenarios, right? It gaps up, and then you could trade a double inside day into the range. It gaps down, you could trade it back up into it, or you could trade it around the VWAP. And so the second opportunity really came around the VWAP here, and it was great because you went inside 60. And as I mentioned before, and I've got my rules, and my fourth rule is trade the best hourly setups. Well, if you've got, you know, an inside green hammer and it closes over the VWAP like it did here, you know, it's gonna be, you know, pretty potent. And so you know, for the most part, from what I've experienced, you got a high probability chance of it working out. And so this time it worked out a lot better. So the entry was this bar here. You know, open, went over it, so I entered, but you know, my stop was down here, right, 254, and I think I made it like 87 or something. I just give a little bit of room, and then you know, work, kind of closed this bar here, the open came back down, and then it launched, and then it kept going, and it broke, and I think that's what I was tweeting. I was like, oh, it's working now. You know, it broke and retested above this range. I was hoping it would really keep going, but the market was just pretty rough, so it was tough to get by. I think you had some short squeezes here, some buyers. I think I sold my first half right before it broke, and then trimmed the rest up there. So it ended up being a better trade than the first trade, and yeah, so it ended up actually finishing pretty weak here on the 60. As you guys know, I like to watch this here. So this might see some continuation to the downside potentially tomorrow. So, but we'll see how it trades. So yeah, so that was pretty exciting. The next one was SBUX, and that was on the radar. I posted it to Twitter on Sunday. It had a lot of good things going for it. The I think I mentioned this is like the espresso straw setup on the weekly, and so I liked it because it was green on the week when a lot of stocks, the Dow and everywhere, S&P were red on the week, and so I was looking for a break. Let me show you on the daily. Yeah, it just looked really strong on the daily. This is from Friday, so I was looking kind of for a break there. That high was 56.78. And so 57 ended up being kind of the line in the sand today. So what I looked at is the close. So this is sort of kind of similar to how Tesla closed today. This is how it closed on Friday. It had a shooter, but it was over the VWAP. And so therefore my theory is that once that fails, that shooter fails above this, which is 56.78 again. So that was the high of the day on Friday. Then that would be somewhere to look for an entry at the open. So I did try at the open, and then I kept a really tight stop on it. Didn't work. But then it came back, and I did options here, and then I tweeted later that I was going to look to do shares because the options just obviously the stock didn't move, so the options didn't move. But at least if you're in the stock, you're not going to get any decay, any theta decay type stuff. So anyway, so I kept an eye on this. It went inside 60, and then it went double inside 60, and so so that's where I was tweeting a break of that 60-minute bar. It ended up being like 57.03, 05. And I know it doesn't look like much, but if you stretch it out like this, it actually is pretty good. And you do 500, 1,000, 2,000 shares on that break over the VWAP inside 60 break. The high is 57.01, so in at 57.03, and then it spiked, and it was great. It went up to like 57. Look at that high, 57.19. I think I got out at like 16, but I mean, that's still, for a day like today, 1,000 shares, $160. I mean, that's a decent trade. So pay some bills with that. So those are some of the big ones there today. I wanted to talk about the S&P, the SPY, went double inside day, and you guys know how much I love double inside days because I talk about how to trade. Let me see if the SPX did too. So that was 27, 75, 77, 99. So the SPX didn't do it, but SPY did, and that's awesome. So that's good. That's the the S&P ETF. Let's just double check. Yeah. So it went double inside day, and now this one is under the 200-day moving average. So I'm going to trade. Look at trading this potentially similarly as I traded Tesla today. Well, not as bad as I traded Tesla today. That's the thing is, at the open, you have to be careful chasing breakouts because they could retest, the close of the day before. And I just got, FOMO, a little fear of missing out on that one. So just tried to catch it there. But later in the day, you could see the best hourly setup was that inside 60 hammer. So I'll keep an eye on SPY. Obviously, of course, the entire world is going to be as well. But, you never know what it could do. It's an inside red shooter. So obviously I would lean a little more bearish on this one. But you can see here that futures are positive and the VIX is negative on the futures. So that might put us either gapping up. Now that actually would be the best scenario for me if we gapped up tomorrow, and because this is you can really get the biggest bang for your buck. So let's say it gaps up like $1 or even 50 cents. Then you short it or get puts into the range. And then your stop is just at that little, wherever the high was there. And then it has a good chance of reclaiming 50% of the range. And then if it breaks to the downside, it could take out here and here, and that could be a really, really profitable trade. So I'm going to definitely look at doing that tomorrow as well. So I also mentioned at the close that I wanted to kind of look at a few other ones. So just to point out, so AMD is always a great stock to trade because it's relatively inexpensive stock. It's only $26. The spreads are good. They're usually 1 or 2 cents, so you can trade it, and it moves too. So you're not just sitting in it like what was it the other day? General Motors that just takes forever. So good news here. AMD went inside day, which makes it a little bit easier to trade, right? So you could trade a break to the top, break to the bottom, or if it gaps up or down, you trade it into the range, just like the double inside day strategy. Just double inside days are more powerful because it's going to want to, usually a momentum stock is going to want to get out of that range and discover price somewhere else. So with AMD, it went inside day. And so the, did I mark that here? Let me put one there to make sure I have that real quick. Inside day down. Let's see, I'll scroll one more there. Inside day up. Okay, and then on the 60s, I thought this was great because there was a lot of pronounced moves at the end of the day today. I pointed out, I just did a bunch of FANG charts on Twitter, but I wanted to show AMD because this is almost a great setup. So the range of the final bar in the 60s is 18 cents. So that would be your risk at the open. So imagine if it like starts up here, right? Then when it comes into the range, you'd look at shorting if once it broke below the VWAP, right? Just according to the rules, or that's how I would do it according to my rules. And then my stop would be at the top of that bar, so 18 cents. So I could risk 180 bucks on options, or any multiple of that, where I feel comfortable. And then, the short there could bring the inside day down. So you could look at a first target of here of 25.67. So on AMD that's good. And even with this one, you don't have to do options. The shares would be just fine. So I wanted to take a look at that. So that was good. And then just kind of wanted to point out a couple other things real quick on the double inside days. United Airlines. This one I didn't trade because it was kind of going slow and I was focusing on Tesla. But if you look at United Airlines, this was right. This green bar here was yesterday's high, so it was going to break that. But if you look what happened, it closed on Friday with essentially a shooter. So the break above that would have been a good long entry right at the open, right? And then your stop would be at the bottom of it, which is 80.07, and here it only went as low as 80.10. So you never would have got stopped out there. You'd have been over the VWAP on a double inside day strategy, and so basically your entry would have been 80.47, and it went all the way up to 81.95. So I mean, basically $1.50 move on like a really easy move in stock. So you can see the strength and the power of those double inside when you combine a double inside day strategy with the 60s. You can really be profitable. So just to review Tesla, that same theory, right? Double inside day. Best 60-minute setup was that inside 60 hammer exploded to the upside, double inside day over the VWAP, and United Airlines just off the open, right? I shouldn't have done Tesla at the open. I should have done United Airlines, just the break of that shooter to the upside, and then just a great trade all day. I mean, everything just kind of pointing up. And this I find potent too. Obviously, I like here when the 5-minute moving average does a golden cross over the 10 moving average. But I also like it when it crosses over the VWAP too. That just kind of gives you just that little bit more momentum too. So this United Airlines really was probably the trade of the day. I just wanted, I said I was going to do Tesla today, and I did it. Didn't do a lot of risk, but made money on it, and made money on SBUX, and so was able to pay some bills today. So I was really happy about that. I had a couple other I'm going to point out that I think I already pointed out on Twitter at the close. That Walmart gave us a double inside day. It was closed red, so we'll see. It was you had a hammer here and then a shooter here, so it could go down. Target ended up putting a double inside day in too. So the Walmart Target effect here. Here you've got inside shooter, even though they're both green. So we'll see which direction that wants to go. It's pretty much above the 200-day moving average here. Of course, if it breaks the upside, cancels out the shooter, it could get some strength to the upside too. So Target and Walmart, Target's actually more fun to trade than Walmart, I think. And there's a bunch of, I'll post a couple more of them later, but we got some good double inside days to take a look at, which is great. So tomorrow should be a fun trading day if anybody has an opportunity to do it. So that's all I got really for tonight. I'll post some more charts after we're done. And in the meantime, happy to take any questions if anybody has. Feel free to put them in the in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. Otherwise, of course, you could send me a message later through YouTube or through Twitter, and of course, I'll do my best to answer that too. At least kind of to share whatever I know about it to help you, make you a better trader. So just feel free to ask away. So I'll just take look at a couple more things real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Home Depot, double inside day. Intel is tough to trade, but double inside day. Target, Walmart. Oh, and then like I started off the session today with TD Ameritrade. So I got a great question here, Jorge Salazar. Does CGC have more upside now that it hit all-time highs? A lot of people really like CGC and all these stocks. I mean, here's the deal, man. I mean, it's yeah. The answer is yes, it could. I mean, anytime you have a bar like this on volume, I just retweeted something. If you go look through my retweets on Steve Burns, one of the big strategies is never discount something that puts in a big green bar on volume, right? Now, a lot of times the market will try to push people out who try to buy a new all-time high, so be careful of that. But I know, a bunch of professional traders who are in this stock right now and have been in it at this breakout, have been watching it. So yeah, I mean, there could be a bunch of upside to it, and it's got a lot of positive news too. I think there was some news today, about more good news for CGC, and you saw what happened to Tilray too. So, so there could be more to go there. You can see it had an inside week last week, and then once it broke that inside week to the upside, look how strong that move was. And then on the monthly chart, what's it doing? I mean, clearly in an uptrend. So yeah, there could be more to it. Just gotta be careful playing it and trading it, just like anything else. Watch your spreads, and know what your stops are, know what your risk is first, right? So. But yeah, there could definitely be some more upside to it, certainly. So these stocks are really popular. I was watching PYX today. That was a Citron idea from the other day. It was an inside day, and the inside day, it took the inside day down today. So you could have shorted, if you could have got shares, you could have shorted it today. Shorting wasn't really on my mind, and if I couldn't get shares, I didn't even want to look for them on this one. So I had an alert here that if it went back in the range, that I would have traded it to the upside, and it just never happened. So it was off my radar, but it would have been a good short if you took that inside day down today. So, but this is another one of those type of stocks that could get some upside. But yeah, I mean, CGC's definitely got some chance, especially on a day like today. Like I said, that green volume day, it could happen. Appreciate the question, Jorge. And let's see what else. What's interesting? Yeah, video got slammed today. I mean, just look at Options Hyper actually just tweeted something out too after I mentioned it as well. I mean, look at that. In the month, just kind of just crushed down, and barely any tail on that so far. I mean, it's under the weekly 50, and therefore it's under the look at that. I mean, it's solid under the 200 day. So I mean, where's it going to go from there, right? And the reality is, it could take out that low, and then it's got. I mean, this pivot, it could take. I mean, it could go. It could go pretty low if it wanted to. So that makes it pretty interesting. But yeah, if there's any more questions you guys have, feel free to ask. If not, I'll cut the video short. But I think it's I think we're gonna have an interesting day tomorrow. We got inside on the spot, double inside on the spot, and a bunch of other double inside days. There's definitely my opinion is going to be some movement tomorrow, and I think we can capitalize on it either way, especially if you know that strategy of the double inside day. My favorites are when it gaps and then reclaims the range. So if we gap up tomorrow, which it looks like we might do if these futures stay strong, then if it comes back in, it'd be great to short. So, but I never chase a gap, especially if there's no real news behind something. I'll do it if there's news, just to jump on the wave. But if it's gapping, I'm not gonna just jump in it just for the sake of jumping in it. That's called chasing a gap, and that's just bad. You can get burned that way. Chances are any gap is going to fade, and on the double inside days, it's going to want to do price discovery to the other side. So you should be able to get 50% of that, and then trim and trail from there. So Then you could always add later. Well, good stuff. I'm glad we got some questions, and if anybody has any other questions, feel free to hit it in YouTube, because I check those, and then Twitter as well. So appreciate it. I hope you guys had a great trading day, and I hope you guys have a great trading day tomorrow, and I will catch you later. Have a good night. Bye.